Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alan, this is my life in Taiwan, and for today's video we have come to an extra special location renowned for its history, its culture and its culinary delights. Everybody, welcome to Kinmen. I bring all of my clothes for one day in this big suitcase.
Maybe you will want to stay.
Maybe I'll never leave. So yes, for any of you that don't actually know, Kinmen is a collection of Taiwanese islands just off the coast of China. And because of this very unique geographical location, a lot of the foods that you get here in Kinmen have their own special, unique preparation methods, recipes, and of course, their own unique flavors. Ooh, nice. Therefore, in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is taste testing some of Kinmen's most famous foods and seeing how they compare to the versions that you might find back on the main island of Taiwan. Now, talking of famous Kinmen foods and delicacies, one of the most famous Kinmen exports is Kinmen Gaoliang, which can be found in abundance here in the local town centre where I'm staying. So my mission is to see how many Gaoliang flavoured delicacies, drinks, foods I can find, give them a rating out of 5, starting with this that you may remember from a video I filmed with a certain Mr. Koo 4 or 5 years ago, Mao Zedong Nai Ta, milk tea added with Gaoliang. I remember it being absolutely delicious. Let's see if it's as good as I remember. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I'm sure politically it's going to stir up a few comments in the comment section, and I've also been told that it's not very representative of Kinmen. It's more of a tourist trap. In fact, on the board it puts the price in NT at 150 NT and also in RMB at 35 for nationals of a country over the river. But yes, definitely 5 out of 5 stars for the Mao Zedong Nai Ta. Let's get around this town and see what else we can find Gaoliang flavored and give it a rating. Okay, second on the list of Gaoliang flavored foods here in Kinmen is Gaoliang Sougong Danquan, Gaoliang flavored egg roll with ice cream. The ice cream is not Gaoliang flavored, but the egg roll is. Let's give it a go. Ooh, really good. The Gaoliang flavor is really there when you breathe in. If you drink a shot of Gaoliang, it can be a little bit overpowering, but the flavor is deeply baked or cooked in to the egg roll, and it's good. I like it. A 4.6 out of 5. Now, next on the list is a confusing one. My camera assistant told me they have Gaoliang QQ Dan. I was expecting QQ Dan, Biguaqiao, but this is QQ Dan. Okay. It's always when you breathe in, then you get the flavor of the Gaoliang. 3.5 out of 5. Did you know that it was going to be an actual egg? And for the next Kinmen inspired delicacy, we have come to Leang Jing Mutang for an extra special bowl of Kinmen Zhou Mian. Ooh, nice. Served hot at the table with freshly prepared beef slices soaked in Kinmen Gaoliang. This looks absolutely delicious and is definitely my cup of tea. Oh wow, the smell of the Gaoliang is really strong. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely delicious. The beef just looks like normal unmarinated beef, but because it's been soaked in the Kinmen Gaoliang, it has that extra special unique flavor you can only get here in Kinmen. Absolutely amazing. And while talking of travel, let's take a break to introduce longtime partner and video sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is simply the best, biggest, and most importantly, safest application when it comes to protecting you online. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malicious malware, and it blocks dangerous ads and stops you from entering malware-infested websites. And any files that you download from the internet are also checked for malware by Nord's Threat Protection Pro feature. If any files are found to be infected, they are deleted and removed from your device before they can cause any harm. Threat Protection Pro is integrated into NordVPN's macOS and Windows apps, so it works with minimal impact on your device's performance. And if you want to be extra safe, you can enable the cloud-based threat scanner, which will run suspicious executable files in the cloud to determine if they are dangerous to your device. Threat Protection Pro is just one feature amongst all of the others that you can see on the screen right now, provided by NordVPN. So if you care about online security, it makes total sense to download NordVPN and make yourself safer online with just one click. And what's perfect for you guys is that if you use my code in the link in the description down below, nordvpn.com/lifeintaiwan, you will benefit from an extra 4 months extra free service when you sign up for one of their 2-year plans. Go check it out, make yourself safer online, and make yourself some savings with my link in the description down below. And for the next food in my list of Kinmen specialty foods, we have come to Beijing Gujiawei here on the extra special location Kinmen, small Kinmen Island. Not a lot of people have been here, and that's because they only opened the bridge between the two islands last year, which I had the pleasure of driving just a little bit earlier. But we have got an incredibly special looking tuabing with a plethora of ingredients. There's red bean, there's yuto, there's sweet potato, there's shentao. I think the ice cream flavor itself is yuto ice cream, but we are going to try and get as many ingredients on one spoon as possible. Oh my goodness, look at that, a plethora of ingredients on one spoon. This looks amazing. I'm sure it's going to taste equally as good. Wow, absolutely delicious. And if you're wondering why I've chosen this specific location, not because it's the most famous, not because it's the most delicious. Apparently, it's the only place that's open at this time on a Thursday afternoon. Kinmen is not a 24-hour convenience lifestyle that you might find on the main island of Taiwan. Kinmen lifestyle is a little bit more relaxed, so this is actually the only place that we could find that was open. Very satisfying, incredibly delicious, and out of 5 stars, I'm going to go with 4.2 for this particular dish. It's definitely hitting the spot on a nice warm spring day. So the Kinmen culinary culture tour continues here in the beautiful surroundings of Peace Park, Heping Gongyuan, and we've come to Sheke Zhejia Meisi Guan. My pronunciation is a little bit off, but you get the point. And as the name suggests, this is an oyster restaurant, and as such, we have ordered 2 of Kinmen's most famous oyster dishes. The first of which is a dish that I had trouble finding in Taichung when Peggy came to visit. 有人知道我们可以吃到乌阿米索吗? Not only did I have trouble finding it, I had trouble pronouncing it. 乌阿米索, 乌阿米索,
米酸，
乌阿米索,
米酸，
乌阿米索. Are those miso like secret speak?
No 米酸。
米刷差不多. But yes, when Peggy came to visit, the restaurant was closed, we didn't find it. But here we are eating the original and the best mi swa here in Peace Park, Kinmen Island. And it looks absolutely fantastic. Chock full of big, juicy, fat, plump oysters. First of all, let's give the noodles a taste. Ooh, nice thin noodles, really helping to soak up that broth. Oh my god, those noodles are cooked to perfection, and the broth is a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner. There is a little bit of a fatty, oily layer sitting on the surface. Not too sure if everybody likes that. I like it. It gives it a bit more flavor, a little bit more oil. Again, every radish has its hole. But the star of the show, and what I am here to eat, and what you are here to watch me eat, are these big, fat, extra plump, juicy oysters, which apparently in Kinmen are notoriously bigger and fatter and plumper than the local Taiwanese oysters. That's meaty. Wow. And not too seafoody, not too salty. There's a subtle saltiness, a subtle seafood flavor to the oysters, but the meatiness of them, the texture of them, is what makes them even better. Let me see if my chopstick skills are good enough to grab one and show you just how big and juicy and plump these oysters are. I know! That is one of the best noodle dishes I've eaten in a long time. Really light, thin noodles allow the extra surface area to soak up more of the broth, and the subtle flavors of the onions combined with the saltiness of the oysters Really good combo. 4.4 out of 5 for the oamiswa. But on to the next of my oyster dishes for this video, and that's going to bring us to this Jing, this oyster omelette, which as soon as it was served to me, I can see immediately it's very different to a standard oyster omelette that you would get in a night market in Taiwan main island. This one looks a lot more like an omelette that we would have back in the UK. Not so much sauce. I've already added a bit of spicy sauce to the top of it, but this one looks a little bit more substantial and held together a bit better with the egg. Not so goopy, not so sloppy. I mean, it's still got a little bit of slop to it, but I guess the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. Oh wow, oh wow, 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 wow. Okay, it seems to be more fried on the bottom, a bit more caramelized, a bit more, like I said, a bit more texture to it than a standard Oyster that I would get back in Taiwan. That's completely different. That's like two different foods. Wow, I'm struggling to choose my favorite between the oyster noodles and the oyster omelette, but if I had to choose a winner, I'm gonna go with the oyster omelette. A little bit more crunch and texture to it, so I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Okie dokie, good morning everybody. Welcome to day 2 of my Kinmen trip. And I'm not even sure if I've mentioned it yet, but the reason that I've been invited here is to give a seminar on the cross-cultural language problems faced by people learning a language. And as you know, my Chinese is perfect, so I'm the perfect man for the job. But anyway, we've just woken up bright and early, ready to go give the seminar. And we have been surprised with a very popular breakfast here in Kinmen. This is Hangong Dough, and it's served with a very traditional youtiao. And the dough is absolutely piping hot, probably too hot to get stuck in straight away. So a little bit of a dunk of the youtiao, and let's give it a taste. Wow, that youtiao is much more ready than youtiao I'm used to back in Taiwan. In Taiwan, the youtiao is a little bit more crispy, crunchy, biscuity, but this is more like a churro, more chewy than I was expecting. Wow. Okay, so far so good. I will give the youtiao 4.8. That's really good. Much better than the youtiao I've had in Taiwan, which is saying a lot because I'm a youtiao fan. So my first time trying Hangong Dough, and it looks like it's a typical eggy kind of sloppy dough, but it's filled with different meatballs. Some traditional looking meatballs, and then of course some dongwan. So let's get a nice tasty big meatball in my mouth. Really crumbly, freshly made meatballs. Absolutely perfect, delicious. Yeah, and those fish meatballs, also really good. Really break apart really easily in the mouth. But the flavors, really good, really perfect. And another key ingredient which makes this Hangong Dough extra special here in Kinmen is the addition of this pig's liver. Not usually a big offal fan. I'm not awfully fond of offal. Bit of a joke for you there. But let's give it a taste and see how it matches up. Okay. Adds a little bit more texture, a little bit more substance to the other more softer ingredients. Bit of a chewy texture to the liver. Wow, well, there is another Kinmen speciality delicacy in my belly, and I have to say it's a little bit different to what I would expect from a porridge back on the main island of Taiwan. I feel like it's a little bit softer, the flavors are a little bit more subtle, but those meatballs are incredibly special. Let's give it a 4.6 out of 5. And just like that, my short but sweet 24-hour trip to Kinmen on a food tasting tour has come to an end. I am back at the airport, ready to board my flight back to Taichung, back to Taiwan Bentao. But I'm sure I will definitely be back to Kinmen in future for more food tasting, and of course, more KAOLIANG themed foods. Thanks to my hosts for their gift of a nice big bottle of very fancy Kinmen KAOLIANG. It shall be very much enjoyed by me and my friends back in Taiwan. Don't forget to go check out the link in the description to NordVPN, nordvpn.com/lifeintaiwan, where you can get an extra 4 months free service when you sign up to one of their 2-year plans. Thanks to everyone for their hospitality here in Kinmen. I've had such a nice time, and as I said, I'll definitely be back. As for now, time to say goodbye, get on the plane back to Taiwan, and I'll see you next time in my life in Taiwan. Peace, bye-bye.